I'm here with Tony Lockwood, and Tony, you're a mentor in the Young Professionals Network.
Yep.
How many years have you been mentoring?
So this is my first year in the Young Professionals. I've done 2 years with the Women in Hire.
Excellent. And what do you feel so far you've gotten out of it?
I get a lot. It's really good to see the young, or the young professionals and the Women in Hire, and just the energy and the people that are actually really wanting to learn and actually learn about the industry, and using us older guys, I guess, to own some of our experiences. I've been in the game. I've been in the hire industry since I was 15, so I've been 30 years doing this. So it's, I guess people would say I've got some experience. So being able to pass that on to people and help them, I guess, from an easier transition into which can be a challenging industry. There's lots of different dynamics in this game. So to be able to pass that on to them and help them to do better at what they're trying to do, I think is really, really good. I've realized that, you know, at a level you get to a point where you actually probably need somebody to bounce off of, and that's one of the reasons I look at the young professionals and go, it's really handy for these younger people in the industry to be able to have somebody just to bounce things off of. That's you know, there's no bias, there's no agenda. It's just about actually helping the person. It's not about what we can get out of it or anything. It's just really, it's totally separate to business. It's more how they can better themselves. So
do you find that is sort of absorbing into you? Are you getting some of that excitement and energy?
Yeah, I have said it before. I feel very selfish sometimes as a mentor.
Why?
because I actually get a lot out of it. Like, it's not, you know, I actually walk out of these meetings you're dealing with some of these guys and mentors as well that have got, you know, it's like they've forgotten more about hire than I've known. So it's just, you know, I think I've got a lot of experience, and I look at these guys and they just know so much, and you know, when I sit with them, you can just absorb so much out of them as well. So I learn from the mentees as well. So some of their challenges that you walk through, you know, it actually helps you learn and develop as well. So that's the selfish side of me coming through.
Where do you place the importance on having strong leadership for mentees in this industry?
Yeah, I think, I think leadership in any business is important for especially young people. I think you can lose a lot of interest if they're not given the right directions and the right kind of, like you say, like leadership. You need somebody to guide them in the right way. You know, I think that's extremely important.
Jason Ligier from Hotline IT is here with me, a mentor.
Yes.
Yeah, so how many years have you been mentoring?
Since the pilot. Mentoring is really important to me. I love working with young professionals. So I actually say to people, mentoring is a selfish thing. So I had one of my mentees come up to me last night, and she said, look, I have to tell you, I'm desperate to tell you, we had a conversation 2 years ago, and some advice you gave me changed my life. And it was you hear that a little bit, but it was actually really profound. It sort of, you know, makes you warm inside to know that that's fantastic. I mean, you couldn't get better feedback than to have somebody say, I remember a conversation we had 2 years ago, you changed my life.
When she came up and brought up the conversation, did you remember the conversation?
Only after she explained it.
Yeah.
So as we went into a bit more detail, it's quite simple about Covey's quadrants, but it was the way that she took that message away and how she used that conversation to actually implement it. That's really the key. Often we have a conversation and somebody likes the idea, but they don't action it. And Alan had actioned it, which was really cool. That was the most important thing. I tend to work, my view of it is I tend to work on their needs rather than be instructive, be supportive. What a mentor could provide is a really safe avenue to talk about something they can't talk about to their family because their family is biased, and they can't talk in their workplace because their workplace has a conflict of interest. And a mentor provides that really safe sounding board that won't give them any advice, will actually just help them with their thought process. And so depending on the person, I changed my tack a little bit. Sometimes it's skill development, sometimes it's personal branding that's important to them. And we just chop and change a little bit to suit what the individual's needs.
Can you explain what the network is?
Yeah, so it's a network that's been created for young professionals in the hire industry, and it's aimed at people 40 and under, and open to anybody who in any role of their company, and it's to grow the future of the hire industry and keep it strong.
And what do people get out of it?
So we have two aspects to the network. We have the wider network, which is for anybody to join, and that includes networking events, and workshops that are tailored specifically to help grow young professionals in the industry. And then we have our leadership development program, which is by application. So they nominate themselves or can be nominated by their company to join, and they receive 5 tailored workshops and are paired with a mentor, somebody who is a seasoned professional in the industry and been around in the industry sometimes for a long time, or somebody who has transitioned from a mentee and is ready to go into that mentor position.
So what's the importance of having strong leaders in the industry?
I think it's really great because they can help grow the industry and help nurture newcomers and help them grow and build the industry and keep it successful.
And we know that people are so important in this industry, and one of the focuses recently has been on the next generation, so the young professionals that are coming through, and also encouraging women in the industry to go for new roles and develop their careers. So our Women in Hire program has been something that's really grown from strength to strength.
And there are a lot of people here who have been involved in both of the programs who are now being able to meet face to face for the first time over that year-long program.
That's right. We had to move our programs to the online platform, and that was tough. When you've got a mentor-mentee relationship, it's probably going to be a lot more communicative and get the ideas across in person over a cup of coffee or a drink or a meal. So to do that over 2 screens is a challenge, but hats off to the guys that are involved, because they switched their way of working, and we've had some really good feedback from both of those programs.
Shayla Harrowfield is here. You're from Vortex, yeah?
I am, yes.
What do you do there?
So I'm a business development manager, so sales rep and fancy words.
Have you been to one of these conferences before?
Never. No, this is my first. I was part of the Young Professionals Network.
Yeah, right.
So they partner you up with a mentor across a 12-month period, and you learn about aspects of business.
You would have done it during COVID 2020, so you wouldn't have met face to face at all?
No. Well,
wow.
and being my first program, I didn't know any different. I had nothing to compare it to.
Sure.
So everything was done on Zoom.
Yeah.
And it was only until coming here that people said, no, you actually meet, usually you fly back and forth and meet your mentors in person.
How did you get involved?
It was actually suggested to me by the general manager of Vortex Group. I think just knowing other young professionals in the business that he's put them through, and he encouraged myself and a colleague to do it.
So what were the kind of things that you learned within the program?
We learned a lot of business development skills. A lot of it too was from managing perspective, managing people, managing up, working with different kinds of people, learning what your communication styles are and understanding what others are. Really, really useful tools, whether or not you're a manager or a sales rep or someone in front of office, and something outside of work too, skill sets you can take outside of work.
So the Young Professionals Network came along, it was offered to me and my name got put forward, and I thought it was always a great opportunity to learn and develop the skills that I need to become a leader, to become a more professional leader.
Has there been a moment in the last year where you've learnt something in the program and then you've gone, I might give this a crack, I might see if I can implement this?
For me, it was probably letting go of control, and putting it back onto my staff to make those decisions. So it was because I started from such a small group of people, I was having to do everything I found in the branch. So, and then with the rapid growth, I was still doing that, and I wasn't allowing them to grow. So I was basically holding them back by not empowering them.
Is this convention the first time you've actually been able to meet other people within the program, properly?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So the YPM program was mainly over Zoom in the last 12 months, which was really beneficial to myself. So for a person that lives in remote WA, I wouldn't have been able to do this program if I didn't have that opportunity. I really liked the way it was presented, and I found that it was really useful. And even being able to do slideshows and things like that throughout the presentation, it was quite an interactive program. So I think it was really well done. I think that's what the backbone of the mentor program is, to realise that you have support with complete strangers. We don't know these people at the start of the whole program. Never met them before, and it's just to know that there are people that you can relate to, all age differences and so forth. They've all been through it, and it's really that comforting support that you can get from the program. It was really positive.
I'm hanging out with Dianna Mitchell. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you today?
Yeah, really good. Now you're part of the on-site rental group. What's your role there?
So my position title is National Talent and Development Manager, which essentially means I look after all of our performance management and development initiatives and also recruitment within the business.
Okay, so this ties in pretty well, I think. What questions are you asking your mentees?
So I might talk through an example potentially. So
Yeah,
I did
great.
have a mentee who was fairly new in the role, in her role, fairly new manager, very driven, very wanting to grow in her role, grow in her business, and was quite worried about the person who she was reporting to. Is a very different personality, and she hadn't yet developed that relationship with him to feel confident, and was concerned that asking for certain things might come across as you want to do my job in the future. We talked about how to approach it and talk about it, and honestly, I was so proud of it because I'm so proud of her because she's made such a great impact, and I think the business is now looking at her and going, she could be the next whatever. They do set up the program well in that they ask all of the mentees to think about what do they want to achieve. Sometimes they don't know, right? It's hard. So if you don't have someone, if they come in, if you were my mentee and you were like, actually, I don't know, I'm doing the program because I know I need to grow, but I don't know exactly where we grow. And then we just talk about, well, what are your frustrations? That's a great question. I usually start with, what are your frustrations in your role and your position in your company? What frustrates you? And then, are there things that we can do that are within your control or influence to work on those things to make it easier and to make your life and hopefully your business's operations more streamlined and easier?
And I'm hanging out with Clint White from Vortex. You're a branch manager,
Yep, branch
right?
manager at Perth, WA.
You've been involved in the Young Professionals Network.
Yep.
How's that been?
Yeah, it's been really cool. Probably at the start and maybe a little bit the middle, I didn't realise how great it was because it was sort of, it's not just like a course you're doing. It's actually quite a momentum of a life habit. I took it, and I sort of didn't really realise that until as it was happening. I'm like, geez, there's actually so much more to this, I'm creating relationships, meeting some really cool people, meeting them, but then not really creating that relationship just yet until like sometimes it was last night when you get to meet them face to face and really getting that connection happening and the different things that I've learned that I didn't quite realise I've learned, and then I've put them in play in my everyday problems or understanding and realising when there's some good wins and happy positive times.
So what have you put into play without realising that it's something you learn, and then you've gone, this is from the program?
A big one for me was realising and understanding that stuff doesn't always get done, and just to accept that. That's okay. You got high expectations of yourself, and you really want to just tick off your to-do list every day, and you're not always gonna. And I just kept going, and just going to burn myself out.
Yeah.
I felt like the Young Professionals Network, it made me realise other people are encountering that as well. The day-to-day grind, the day-to-day issues, pressures, industry demands. Not just alone. Which you know that you're not, but to hear it firsthand was, an eye-opener. So started accepting that things, take time and you will get to it. That was a big one for me.
So would you recommend the program to anybody thinking about getting involved next year?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely encourage people to give it a crack, or if you're in a position to put one of your colleagues or employees into this, definitely do it. It's investing into yourself and others is important.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Clint, it was great to meet you, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Yeah, no worries. Thank
you.